Hello, my name is Kelsey, and today I'm going to be crocheting a little purse for my daughter, little toddler purse. I don't have a pattern that I'm following. I do plan on typing up some notes and adding them onto my blog, but yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. All right, so let's get started. So I have her cute little Fisher-Price purse. She absolutely loves this. She carries it around the house everywhere, but I hate how like clunky it is because it's like electronic and it's just really bulky and of course, I mean, I'm a maker. I have to make her something. And I have her little sunglasses that she carries around the house all the time in her purse. So I want to make sure that the purse that I make is going to be big enough for this. All right, and I'm going to be using this sugar wheel cotton from Hobby Lobby. I've had this in my stash for a long time. It's called Paris Mornings. It's really pretty. I'm gonna be holding 2 strands of it together so I can work this purse up real fast. And then I have these little rings that I got at Hobby Lobby. They are 15 millimeters thick and 3.81 inches or 97 millimeters. So I'll link some on Amazon that are really similar to this. I usually buy rings like this on Amazon, but I just happen to be in Hobby Lobby. I like to buy big packs on Amazon with different sizes because they're really useful to have for a multitude of projects. Okay, and so I have a kind of idea of what I want to do. I think I want to make like kind of like a rectangle for the base on the bottom. And that's another reason why I want to hold 2 strands of yarn together, is that it's going to make the purse a lot more sturdy. And then for the body of the purse, I think I want to do a star stitch. Now, I recently designed this scarf right here. It's called the Kua Bay scarf, and I did use the star stitch on this, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. This pattern is for free on my blog, so I'll be sure to link that down below. The star stitch, it's addicting. It's pillowy soft, and I feel like it's really feminine, and it's going to look really great with the 2 contrasting colors from holding the 2 strands at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to get started. I'm going to use a 6 millimeter crochet hook to start out, and we'll see how I like that, and we'll go from there. If I don't, then I'll change hook sizes, and who knows what will happen. All right. So I'm going to be pulling from the center and the sides. So I have 2 strands of yarn and a 6 millimeter hook. And I'm going to start by making a foundation single crochet. And I don't know how many or how long. I'm just going to go for it. Oh, and a little trick that I like to do when I'm working with 2 strands and a cake yarn like this, I like to always flip it upside down where it's coming out of the center, because that kind of keeps it from, when I'm pulling this one out, it keeps it from getting tangled. Now, if I'm pulling from this direction, every time it goes around, it's going to constantly get into a tangle like that, and that creates a huge mess for later. I don't recommend it. So if you're like just at home, or even if you're working out of like a project bag, you can easily just flip it upside down like this, and that way it's going to keep this center pull yarn under control. That's about, it looks good for me. So what I'm going to do now to create this like base is I'm going to be working in the round around my foundation single crochet. And honestly, I think I'm going to size down on my hook for the base, because I want it to be really like structured, if that makes sense. And this is just a little loose, but it's fine for the first one. All right, so I have a 5.5 millimeter that I'm going to switch to. All right, and so I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work a single crochet around. And when I get to the end right here, I'm gonna work 3 in the end. So it's like gonna kind of round all the way around. Oops. The tricky part is making sure that you grab both strands of yarn. And I love doing stuff like this, working in the round, because then I'm just like immediately like working over my tail and hiding it in, because I would love to meet someone that loves weaving in ends, because I would like to know what motivates you so I can maybe motivate myself a little bit better. And then that chain 1, I'm just gonna slip stitch in. I'm gonna chain 1 again and start all over. And I'm gonna work 2 into this first stitch. And by working multiple stitches in the ends, that is increasing the size for us as we go, and ensuring that it's gonna be laying flat. So now, like on where I worked 3 stitches before, I'm gonna work, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work 2 in the 2 side ones. So it'll be 4 total, and then 1 here. And we'll see how that looks. All right, that's my first couple of rounds. I'm gonna keep doing that until it resembles this size, but I think we're looking good so far. And I'll be back when I get there and move on to the next step. So I'm done with my base. So I went a lot bigger than this, because I just figured, why not? She's getting older. She's going to want to carry more stuff around. She's going to have more very, very important things that she needs on her at all times. So why not get bigger? So what I ended up doing after a while, I didn't like how this wasn't getting wide enough. So I started increasing just somewhere in the middle. I just eyeballed it by working 2 single crochets and 1 stitch on both sides. And then I didn't like how it wasn't getting as long as I wanted after a couple rows, so I started working on the 3 end stitches. I worked 2 single crochets into each one of those 3 end stitches on both sides. So that gave us this really nice shape. And at this point, I'm done increasing. I will not be increasing anymore, and I am going to begin the star stitch pattern. Okay, so to do the star stitch, we start the row by chaining 3, and then we're going to single crochet 5 together, starting in the 2nd chain from the hook. So we'll skip this one, and we're going to draw 5 loops in the next 5 stitches, which will be 1, 2, 3, this one that our stitch is actually in, 4, and 5. And once we do that, we'll move on. So 1 is one of those chains, 2, and I like to draw up the loop in the back bump. That's just me, but you can draw it up wherever. So 1, 2, 3, and then this stitch that it's in right here, drop another loop, 4, and you want to try to keep those loops the same height. Now I did let this one get a little loose, which isn't ideal, so I'm going to try to like stretch them out a little bit. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you end up with 6 loops on your hook, because you have that original one that was our working yarn, and then we these are the 5 that we drew up. So then we yarn over and draw through all 6 loops once, at once like that, and then we're going to yarn over and chain 1, which creates this eye right here. And the thing about the star stitch, there is a right side and a wrong side. So right here's the wrong side, so I'll probably end up just like flipping this around, which isn't a big deal. So now let's move on to the next star. So you insert, we're going to single crochet 5 together, insert under this eye, 2 loops, and then this last loop from the previous star right here, gonna insert right there, drop a loop. So we have 3 loops, we're going for 6. Then we're gonna insert into this stitch, the last one working on our round, that's 4. Insert here, that's 5, and insert here, and 6. So we have 6 loops on our hook, and as you can see, my tension's a lot more consistent on this one. and then you draw through all 6 at once. Gonna chain 1, and then we're gonna continue on. So we do the first one in this little eye, and then this next one in the last loop from the previous star. So it's 1, 2, 3, this stitch, 4, the next one, 5, and 6. All right, so basically each star we are moving 2 stitches along, because the other loops, they're all worked into previous stitches or parts of the previous stitch. And we're gonna work a star stitch all the way around, and once we get to there, we'll join them and we will chain 3 and continue the next row. So I finished that row, and now the star stitch, if you've never worked it before, it is a 2-row repeat. So right now we're gonna work on row 2, which is basically we're just gonna fill in the top on top of this star. Okay, so what I did was I chained 2, and then I'm gonna go to my first star right here, and then I'm gonna be working 2 half double crochets in this eye stitch, this eye right here, which is the chain 1 that we did to close the star. So I'm gonna be working 2 half double crochets in there. This is my first one. And as you can see, that kind of closes the eye up. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna work these 2 half double crochets across. All right, so I'm at the end of that round, and I am just going to single crochet right here into that initial stitch, just to close that little gap right there. All right, so that is our 2-row repeat for the star stitch. So we're going to go back and do the first row again, and I'll show you a couple stitches in case you need a little refresher, but here's how it looks. I think it looks amazing. I'm very, very happy. So let's move on. All right, so we start by chaining 3, and we're gonna draw up 5 loops for a total of 6 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, so 2 from the chain, 1 from right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do 5 for the first half double crochet, and then 6 and the second half double crochet. Yarn over, draw through all 6, and then continue on. All right, let me give a little pattern update. I am on the 3rd round of shells, and as I mentioned before, the shells are a 2-row repeat. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on row 5 of the not the shell, the star stitch. I don't know why I keep calling it a shell stitch, but it's a star stitch. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update because the colors have started to change, and I was a little worried about it at first because I really love the gray and white. It just looks really pretty. And I just thought this gray was really dark, but I'm happy with it. I like it. And the pink started to wear in before the darker gray. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this star pattern for probably a couple more rows, and then we'll see about the size, and then we'll go to attach this. But I'm really happy with the holding 2 strands of yarn together. It just looks really great. And I was just thinking while I was in the middle of making it, this would be so cute to make a mommy and me matching bags. Or if you have like 2 little girls and one's bigger and one's littler, you could customize this and you can make it any size you want. And that would just be so cute. If you have like an upcoming vacation or like a wedding you are going to, you can have your little girls and you match. All right, I'm done with my star stitch section. And perfect timing too, because my daughter just woke up from her nap. So I just real quick want to say what I did and what I plan on doing next. This bag, I love it. And as to be expected, it has gotten much larger than this. But that's okay, because my ultimate goal was to use this entire cake of yarn. So what I plan on doing next is I want to start decreasing. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to single crochet in 8 stitches and then single crochet 2 together. And I think that'll give me a good ratio for decreasing, and I'm going to do that for several rows until I feel like the opening is where I want it, and then I can begin to attach these rings for the handle. All right, and I'll be back in a little while. All right, so I'm back at the beginning of the round. So I ended up doing 5 rows of single crochet across, and I decreased after every 6 single crochets. So I did 6 single crochets, decreased, and repeated that across. And it gave me a nice little slope in. And so now I'm ready to attach my rings and start that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a number of stitches that I'm going to choose. Maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the middle 6. That sounds good to me. So I'll take the middle 6 stitches, and then I will, and all these other stitches, I will just single crochet in them. You know what, actually, I kind of want it to be more sloped. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna single crochet in the first 6 stitches. So I'm gonna single crochet in the first 6 stitches, just normal single crochet, and then I'm gonna begin attaching to the ring by single crocheting around the ring. All right, so it's actually been a few weeks since I finished my bag, and I loved it so much that I made a second one for myself. Here's the one I made for my daughter, and she absolutely loves it. I think it turned out so great. There's like a really nice opening size, and I decreased on the top so that it would things wouldn't fall out. But I made hers a lot more rows, um, meaning like the star stitch sections. I made a lot more, and this is the one I made for myself. Quite obsessed. So I used raffia from Wool and the Gang that I've had in my stash like forever. I think I bought it like right when the pandemic first started, and I just never did anything with it. So it's finally used it. I used like 2/3 of the skein, I guess is what you would call it, or a cake. I don't know. I used like 2/3 of it. And I held two strands together at the same time. And I used these handles that I got on Amazon. I'll link them down below. I did not decrease on the top, and of course, haven't done that. I at least did my daughter's, but I haven't wove this in. And I've used this like 4 times, but it doesn't matter. So I didn't decrease on the top because it's for me, so I don't want it to be like a really tiny opening. Um, but yeah, I did, let's see, I did one, two, three, four star stitch sections on this one, and I love the size. And um, so I decided on the size by actually using my phone as a guide, so you can kind of see my phone is fits good. And the raffia, I enjoyed using it so much more than I thought I would. It is so like pillowy and soft, and it's really tough. I was worried that being like a recycled like wood pulp paper content that it wouldn't do good with water, but living in Florida and it rains all the time, it's gotten wet already and it looks completely fine. And it's just like so pillowy and soft, and just that like sound of the texture. I love it. And the star stitch, it just looks so good. The handles, I absolutely love them. I like how they extend like just past the, or kind of right at the edge. And I'll link these handles down below. The only thing I recommend is, I do highly recommend them from Amazon, but I recommend that you open them and leave them like in your garage for a couple of days before you use them, because they smell extremely strong, like some powerful glue that they use to secure it, which you don't want that smell in your house. But after like, I think like a day or two of sitting in my garage, can't even smell it anymore, or else I wouldn't use it. But yeah, I love it, and I've gotten so many compliments on it. Um, you could use any raffia for it. It doesn't have to be Wool and the Gang, but I just had that one already. I highly recommend you making this bag, whether you go with like a cotton version or raffia. You could do whatever you want. You can see the sky's the limit for customization just by using whatever you want to use. See, this one's a little bit more floppy, whereas this one is much more sturdy and looks like it came from like a boutique. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a great day.